down into darkness. Let me see beauty that made this heart adore you. All for a hope spent with you. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely. You're altogether worthy. You're altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Humbly you came to the earth you created. All for love's sake became born. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely. You're altogether worthy. You're altogether wonderful to me. Can you sing it with me? Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon the cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon the cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon the cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon the cross. So here I am to worship. Here I am to I don't have a really good story about my mom. I have to think of one for before I sing at the event, but I do have a good story about Patrice. That she was at her old church, and thank God she left it. She had just finished a praise and worship service, as wonderful as it was today. Spirit came down. I was sitting in the back, crying like a baby. Thank God I didn't wear mascara today, unlike I did today, which is a big mistake. But I was just crying. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I look up, and I look around, and everyone in the church is stone-faced. And I said to myself, how could you do that? How could you listen to her and not be blessed? And I was just, every time she does praise and worship, I'm like, you have to tell me because I want to be there. So I'm going to say, he looked beyond my faults and saw my needs.
All right, praise God. Thank you, Jesus.
Amazing grace will always be my song of praise.
Yes.
For it was grace that brought my liberty. I don't know why he came to love me so. He looked beyond my faults and saw my needs.
Yes.
I shall forever lift my eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died.
to sing. It's usually just Patrice and Pam, you know, a little bit of Renee, a little bit of Karen. But Belinda, that was wonderful. And this is, aren't we all blessed that Jesus looks beyond our faults and sees our needs. Next, we're going to hear from my cousin, Karen, Reverend Karen Bates. Most of you know her, but I know her as Karen. And you heard Pam come up and tell her a little funny story yesterday about how she tried to have a coup and bump Pam out of the seat of being the baby. And so then Karen came, and I says, wow, because the story I know is how she never let me get a turn in jacks, because she'd always flip them full games. If you ever remember playing jacks, you know, you did all 10 of them, you'd never get a turn. She'd like, one game, 2 games, and so, you know, Patrice and Belinda and I were sitting there, you know, like, we never get a turn. So that's my story about Karen. She never let me get a turn playing jacks. And so, you know, but truthfully, Karen, a dynamic speaker, and we did talk to her yesterday just about having a TV show so that the world gets a chance to hear what she has to say, because she just has a way of connecting when she preaches. And I says, whenever she preaches and Pam preaches, I'm always like right there. I says, I'm sitting right on the front seat like Mary, like just waiting to hear what it is they have to say. I don't care what's going on, but I'm sitting there. Pam was getting ready to preach one time, and I was running late. I was like, could you just tell her to wait till I get there so I can hear what she has to say. So you're in for a treat when you get to hear Karen preach the Word of God. Amen. So without further ado, here's Karen, Reverend Karen Bates. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Praise God.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
You know what? There's something down in my spirit, and you know, I want to take a praise break. Do y'all mind? Can we take a praise break?
Yes.
Can we take a praise break? Do you know, I was sitting at the bedside today as I took my blood pressure because it was up, it had been up. And today was the first time that it was almost close to normal. And as I sat there, I was thinking, I said, God, you've preserved me.
Hallelujah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Now see, it's nothing, it might not mean anything to you. But to me, God preserved me. And see, the thing is that we're really careful about thanking people for what it is that they do. But when God saves your life, you ought to be able to tell him thank you. You ought to be able to say, God, I thank you. Lord, I thank you because I could have been consumed and cut off. But Lord, I thank you for your preservation. I thank you for what it is that you've done. I thank you for bringing me through. I thank you for having a mother who will pray for me. I thank you for having somebody who will stand beside me. God, I thank you. God, I thank you for praying your prayer. Oh, God, my Father. Shout! had the sermons even before we were, like, weeks. Right after Sister Frida asked me to come and preach. And as I was sitting there, and I was, like I said, Lord, this doesn't make sense. And God said, Karen, it doesn't have to make sense for you right now. But the thing I need you to do is I need you to keep on trusting me. And even as I go through a season, I'm in a season of unemployment. And I said, God, this is not where I wanted to be at this point in my life. But the thing is that God said, if you can trust me, if you can trust me, the thing is that so many times we want to put the trust in the things that we have taken to prepare ourselves for what it is that we're going to do. You know, I got an education and I did this and I have experience, God. Why is it that this is where I am right now? But God said, can you trust me? Can you trust me to bring you through? And the thing is that it's not easy to trust God. It's easy to trust God when you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks.
That's right.
But when you're not getting money coming in, it's hard to say, God, I trust you. When things aren't going like they used to be, it's hard to say, God, I trust you. But sometimes God wants to know, can he trust us to do what it is that he's called us to do in the midst of the difficult situation? And this is not the sermon, and I'm going to move on because there's something down in my soul. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Read with me as we read from, I'm going to read from Mark chapter 5, verse 25. Mark chapter 5, verse 25. You can stay seated. You know, just stay seated. I know we usually do stand to honor God for the presence of for the reading of his word. But we're going to make an exception this morning. I'm going to try to move along as fast as I can. And
Take your time, honey.
it says, and a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was hoping better, but nothing, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And he looked around about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith has made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. I'm going to talk about prayer song. Would you pray with me? Father God, empty me of myself. Fill me with your presence. Speak through me. Let the words that I speak not be my words, but let them be your words. Let us hear what it is that you're saying to us, the church, that we might be saved, healed, restored, delivered, ministered to, but most of all, that our hearts might be the fine soil, the fertile soil, for the word of God to fall, that the seeds might fall on good ground. And after they fall in the good ground, that they're fertilized to come forward and bring forth the fruit that will bring others to Christ.
Yes, Lord.
In Jesus' name we
Jesus'
pray.
name.
Amen.
Amen.
You know, one of the things about this text is often when people preach it, they often concentrate on the fact that the woman was healed. But this morning we're going to look at the fact that she pressed. One of the things that often happens is that we have a 1-year-old at the house. And the 1-year-old is Reagan Bell. And Reagan Bell loves to climb. Now, Reagan Bell will climb on whatever it is that she thinks is climbable. And she loves the kitchen chairs. And so the first time that she started climbing on the kitchen chairs, one time she made it. But then other times she would fall and bust her little noggin. And she would just cry and cry and cry. And after her mother soothed her, told her, you can't climb on the chairs, Reagan. Don't climb on the chairs. As soon as nobody was looking, and sometimes when people were looking, she went right back to the chair and climbed the chair. Why? Because she was determined she was going to climb that chair. And so even as she has grown, and the thing about her is that if you would know Reagan, and if I had a projector, I could show you a picture. She has this beautiful smile, and it is going to get her out of a lot of trouble, because she will get to after she gets to the top of whatever it is that she's climbing, the summit, she goes. And when you fussing at her, she goes. And you can't keep fussing, because you can't keep saying, get down off that chair. She goes. But there's something about tenacity. There is something about a press. And the woman with the issue of blood, she has some of these same characteristics. The one basic reason that the woman should not have come to Jesus was her condition. Yet it was the main reason that brought her to him. See, the thing is that so many times we think that our condition is what keeps us from Jesus, but it is our condition that should take us.
Yes.
The thing is that somebody would say, well, why did it even matter that she had this issue of blood, this continual flow of blood, this menstrual cycle that would not stop? The reason it mattered is because under the law, you were considered unclean if you were having a period or a menstrual cycle. And so here is this woman with this continuous menstrual cycle who was considered unclean, but then there were other issues that were social and religious, because anytime anybody touched you, they became unclean too.
Amen.
And so if they were unclean, they touched you, they had to bathe. And the thing is that bathing was not always available at the immediate time. Sometimes it was inconvenient. And so if she touched a person's clothes, the person was rendered ceremonially unclean for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine touching somebody and somebody telling you you can't do nothing else for the rest of the day, go sit down, just because you touched somebody? And so this is the issue that she has to deal with. The thing is that so many times, at some points, men would even just avoid women altogether because they didn't want to deal with the issue. And so the thing is that there are a number of reasons why she should not have been in the crowd. There are a number of reasons why she shouldn't have been in the press. There are a number of reasons why she should not have been there. But the thing is that when you are desperate, when you have tenacity, it does not matter what everybody else says. What matters is what it is that you need to happen in your life. And the thing is that when something is down inside of you and you need something, you don't care what everybody else has to say. The thing is that here is a woman. They say she is bankrupt, going to check Jesus out. But the thing is that if you're going to check Jesus out, you got to start weighing some costs. I'm going to get in the crowd. And if I'm in the crowd, anybody that I touch is unclean. But maybe if I can just get to the bottom of the crowd and just touch the hem of his garment. See, the thing is that so many times we want God to touch us. We want Jesus to touch us. But she said, he doesn't have to touch me.
My God.
She said, I don't even have to touch him. She said, I don't just got to get a piece of his clothes. Just get a piece of what he's got. And so there's something about the possibility from the margins, the possibility from the outside. How many of us are sitting on the sidelines thinking about what could be if? What could be if I got up? What could be if I did this? What could be if I stood up and spoke? What could be? She somehow decided in her mind the reward outweighed the risk. You see, I don't know if I could I don't know if I had the tenacity or the faith that she had. Or maybe I haven't been at that situation where she was. See, the thing is that she probably hoped to get her healing in obscurity. If I can just get in there and get what I need and get out, nobody will see me. But see, you think the thing is that folk talk. You know, Jesus was going around healing, and they were like, you know, wasn't that blind? Wasn't he blind? What happened to him? How he get his sight back? What happened to him? That's the one that was deaf. He couldn't hear nothing. He was what? The one that can walk. He used to limp. What happened to his limp? He get some new shoes? What happened? What about the lepers? They what? How did that happen? All 10 of them got healed, only one went back? But how did that happen? But she's doing all of this in obscurity, thinking maybe she can get away with it. But when she goes to the crowd and she begins to press, she presses in and something happens. And Jesus says, wait a minute, somebody touched me. And the disciples are like, duh. Did you see the crowd? Do you see the people? Have you ever been in a crowd and not touched somebody? When you're in a crowd trying to move through, you ever get in a crowd and everybody is going in the same direction? You got to touch somebody. And he said, but there's something different about this touch. There's something different about what happened here. When you want something, when you need something, there's something different about how you go about getting it. And the thing is that here is somebody who had tenacity. Here is somebody who had no business in the crowd. Here is somebody that if everybody else had their druthers, they would lock her away in a closet somewhere. But here is a woman who said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, if I can just get in the presence, if I can just keep on pressing, if I can just press my way forward, if I can just press my way through, I don't care about the other people. I'm not here to bother y'all. Please don't look at me. Let me just press my way through. It did not stop her that she was flowing with blood. It did not stop her that she was going to make everybody else unclean. She knew that she had to press her way. See, the thing is that after Jesus says somebody touched him, identifies, one of the reasons that's important is because identifies what happens through supernatural power, through supernatural knowledge. And the thing that you have to know is that when you use, in that time, when you use supernatural knowledge to identify what happened, it was important because only the teachers closest to God had the supernatural knowledge. They were the ones who knew what was happening. And so that was just another connection that Jesus had with the Father. And so they're like, wait a minute, you say something happened, and you know folks are watching. Because you know how we are, not us Christians, us, the other Christians, you know how they are with people when they watch folks. We watch folks like a hawk. Where they going? Ooh, I saw them, I saw them in the store when the lottery was $40 million. I saw them in one of the lines. I saw them in there's a store that it's a liquor store. And I saw them walking in the liquor store. We watch people. Not y'all, the other people. I know y'all don't do that. 'Cause we good saved. We're good and saved. See, when you're good and saved, you don't do stuff like that. But she pressed on. Jesus, he pressed on toward her. Because the thing is that so many times when you're looking for a refuge, it doesn't matter what people think about you. It doesn't matter what people see you do. Why are you going there? Because I need help.
Amen.
Yes.
I need help. And the thing is when Jesus acknowledges that something happened, the thing is that she comes out of obscurity and throws herself at his feet and says, it was me who touched you. Begging for mercy. She had been found out. And the people probably start talking then. Ooh, she the one with the issue of blood. Oh my goodness, what we gonna do? What we gonna do now? Ooh, what Jesus gonna do? Ooh, let's look. Because, we come to church and we look at folks. Why they at the altar?
That's right. That's right.
Not here, other places. If you go to any other church, that's what happens. Really. The people look at it. I wonder why they at the altar. I wonder what happened. I wonder what's going on at their house. And don't let somebody be crying. I wonder what they're crying about. Was her husband in church? What's going on? What you hear? You hear something? I didn't hear nothing. You hear something? No, I didn't hear nothing. What you hear? Well, somebody has said to me. Not here. I'm just telling y'all what happens in other places. Don't judge. I would never do that here. But see, here's the thing that you have to realize is that when you get to a place where you are desperate, you don't care what other people think.
That's right. Amen.
When you get to a place where you are desperate, what other people have to say does not bother you. What other people see doesn't bother you. What other people understand doesn't make you know never mind. I know that's bad grammar, but don't make you know never mind. You could care less when you are desperate. When you are desperate, you don't care because you need something. And when you are in need of something, you will keep on pressing. You will keep on going. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how difficult it gets. You just keep right on going. The thing is that it can be 1,000,000 miles, but I'm going to keep on walking because this is something that I gotta have. The thing is that you will sit in the midst of trouble because you know that if I can get through this trouble, I can get to the other side. And I can get to the other side, I can get my help. And the thing is that happens when nobody will press. When people won't press, nothing happens. You don't get what you need. And sometimes what you need to get is fuel for somebody else.
Yes. Amen.
And if you won't press, they don't get what they need from you.
Yes.
Amen.
You got to learn how to press when people come and when people go. Press on. When the money is tight, when the money ain't right, press on.
Amen.
See, when the people are here, press.
Amen.
When the road is rocky, press. When the road is smooth, press.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Thank you, Lord.
Learn to press your way to the house of God. When you have a ride, press. When you don't have a ride, press.
Amen.
Praise God.
When you have gas, press. When you're close to E, press.
Praise God. Thank you, Jesus.
There are times when you want to go on, when you won't want to go on. But I tell you to keep on pressing.
Yes.
One time I was sitting there, I was talking to somebody, I don't even remember who I was talking to. And they were talking about tying a knot at the end of the rope and holding on. And I told them, I said, I learned a long time ago that sometimes you tie the knot at the end of the rope, and God cuts the knot because he wants you to let go and land safety in his arms. Because every time that you need something, you can't find it swinging on a rope.
Amen.
Sometimes what you need is found in God's arms. Sometimes when you're lonely, the love and the companionship and the quiet and the peace that you seek is found in the arms of God. Oh, I'm preaching right now. You won't get this later on. You see, sometimes what you need is not found on what it is that you can do in your own might. It's found in really trusting God in everything that you have, with everything that is within you. See, if you can make your way to Jesus, if you can get in the press and make your way to Jesus, things will be all right. See, I like how my friend the Apostle Paul says, he says, you see, what I want you to know, not as though I have already attained, either were already perfect, but follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which I am apprehended of Christ Jesus. Brother, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind. Sometimes you got to forget the folks who done left. You know, so many times we think that we got to go out and rescue folks when they leave us. And sometimes you need to leave. Sometimes they're gone for a reason. Because sometimes they were not good for you. Not y'all other people, because y'all don't have that issue. But so many times we get caught up in bad relationships with folks that we think were tied to our destiny. And the thing is they not tied to your destiny. If anything, they were a hindering block to your destiny. And sometimes you need to know how to let folks go. You need to learn there are some things that you got to forget that were behind you. Stop looking behind you, trying to figure out how can I go back and recover what was. Because some of that stuff was junk. We want to go back and get what was. Let it go. And keep pressing ahead. Why? Because your future is ahead of you and not behind you. Your best days are ahead of you and not behind you. Church, your best days are ahead of you and not behind you. The thing is that don't you believe that this is just the end. This is just the beginning. The thing is that I believe that God is going to fill this house, and that in the next season for this house, you're going to come and you're going to be looking for a seat, and you're not going to find a seat because you're going to keep pressing in for what it is that God has for this house. Amen. See, the thing is that everybody doesn't want success. Everybody, and the thing is that sometimes folks will leave you because you tell them they got to do what's right.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
And it's hard to live right. He says, reaching forth unto those things which are before. He said, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. What are you pressing for? What are you pressing toward? What are you pressing for? Pressing for somebody to call your name and acknowledge you. See, the thing is that sometimes we think that what we do it for people. And the thing is that as long as you are doing something for people, somebody will always have something to say about it, and it'll never be enough.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Folks will have something to say. You will put out your very best. And they'll say, this it?
Amen.
Is there something else? What?
Yes. Yes.
You know, and you're thinking, this is the very best that I have.
Amen.
And you don't like my best?
Amen.
Lord Jesus.
Thank you.
But when you do it as unto the Lord,
Yes. Amen.
they can say, this is it. You say, yeah, girl, and isn't it fine? Look at it. Look at what God, look at what God has blessed me with.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord.
I used to have a struggle bucky. And somebody told me one time, they said, you need to get a new car. You riding with me.
That's funny.
You walking. Now, unless you're going to put me on your back, you do best to be quiet. Because I'll put you out. You ain't going to get his money anyway. I'm just being honest, because, you know, I'm not like my mother. Because my mother will pick somebody up in a, I told somebody I didn't know it wasn't normal to pick folks up who were walking. So I said, you need a ride? And yeah, don't know, you need a ride? And one time this lady, she was like, really? You gonna give me a ride? I was like, yeah, you got all them groceries and stuff? Come on, get in the car, bring your groceries in, come on, where you live? And she's like, I'm so appreciative. She said, I don't have any money. I said, you don't have to give me no money, come on, where you going? Let me take you.
Thank you, Lord.
And then somebody was like, you know that's not normal.
Oh, praise the Lord.
But you got to learn how to press. Why? Because when you're pressing for what it is that God calls you to, and you give your best, what other people say doesn't matter. When you start pressing because you're so desperate for what it is that God has for you. Because you're so desperate because you know who God is. Because you're so desperate because you know that when I get to the place where I meet him, he's going to meet me. And when he meets me, he's going to say my sins are forgiven me. And when my sins are forgiven me, he's going to make me whole. And when I'm made whole, the thing is that I'm going to be like the woman at the well. And I'm going to put down my pot. And I'm going to run and tell folk, come see a man. The thing is that you don't need to get to a point when you're in a community talking about, come see a man. Come meet a man. Come meet Jesus. Come press her. We're going to press on. 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 McKeesport being like, press on and see what it is that God has. Press on. Press on. Press on. Your work is not finished. Press on. Press on. Press on. Rest on your feet all over the building. You're ready to stand. Rest on your feet. Keep on pressing on. Keep on pressing on. Keep on pressing on. This morning, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, you can come and get in the press.
Yes,
You can press your way and come meet Jesus. He'll save you.
yes. Hallelujah.
And then after you
Hallelujah.
are saved,
Yes, Lord.
you'll find out that your sins are forgiven you. You'll be different.
Thank you.
Life will be different.
Thank you. Thank you.
might not be, you're not going to go to the top of the class. But you're going to get better. Life will be different. Life will change.
Life will change.
So if you don't know Jesus, the altar is open to you.
Yes.
The altar is open to you.
Yes. Yes.
The altar is open to you. If you're not saved, the altar is open to you. Maybe you're saved, but sometimes you don't always press like you're supposed to press. Maybe you need prayer to get to the place where you press on. Like the woman with the issue of blood, get you some tenacity and the courage. See, other people will take you to the wizard. I'm going to take you to Jesus. See, I'm going to take you to Jesus, honey. You'll get some courage. You'll get some stuff will change.